Here it is, the 8th round of the battle between gods and men. Humanity's scientific genius, Nikola Tesla, faces off against the one cursed by Satan, the Lord of the Flies, Beelzebub. So, can human science overcome the curse of a demon? First, please subscribe, like, and share to give me more motivation to create more videos. My friends, first to enter the arena is the representative of the gods, the Lord of the Flies, Beelzebub. Seeing this god of darkness, who symbolizes disaster and disease, not only do the humans show fear, but so do the gods. The reason the gods fear Beelzebub is because he carries the curse of Satan. Anyone who gets involved with him will have their heart ripped out by Satan and their life taken. Therefore, all the gods in heaven avoid him like the plague. After Beelzebub takes the stage, the referee also begins to introduce the representative of humanity. But when the gate opens, there is no one inside. Just as the referee is bewildered, a powerful electric current suddenly shoots out from within. The referee is truly speechless. Why does everyone from humanity's side have to make such a grand and flashy entrance? However, as a professional commentator, he still accepts the challenge and begins the introduction. He was born in the roar of thunder on a stormy night, the legendary child of light. He lit up the globe with electricity, using a mind that surpassed human limits to create a new kind of magic called science. And he is the one who brought illusion into reality, vowing to elevate humanity to the level of the gods. The first magician in human history, the man known as the one closest to divinity, Nikola Tesla. And the super mech suit he is wearing, which is far beyond current human technology, is his Volundr, formed from the 9th Valkyrie's sister, Gundel, named Super Automaton Beta, with both contestants in position. The great battle between light and darkness, between creation and destruction, has finally begun. Will the ruler of darkness extinguish humanity's light of hope? Or will the brilliant light of the magician pierce through the night? If you haven't read the manga, you can start placing your bets now. The match begins. Tesla is the first to approach Beelzebub, but he doesn't attack. Instead, he circles around Beelzebub, looking him up and down, left and right. He had thought the Lord of the Flies would be some kind of hideous monster, but unexpectedly, his opponent is a slender and beautiful young man. This will be a wonderful research opportunity, seeing the human babbling endlessly before him. Beelzebub also starts to lose patience. Let's just kill each other already. As soon as Beelzebub finishes speaking, the ground where his magic staff touched immediately collapses. A crack spreads out at extreme speed. Tesla leans to the side to dodge, and at the same time, the wall behind him instantly turns to dust. A sharp attack, without any warning. Everyone thought this was magic cast by Beelzebub. After all, Beelzebub hadn't made any move, yet the ground cracked on its own. If this wasn't magic, what was it? But only Tesla thought it was science. In the stands, Edison has already revealed the secret, explaining that it is the power of vibration. But how could ours understand such advanced science? Fortunately, the scholar Hermes explains. He picks up a wine glass and begins to sing loudly. As the volume increases, the wine glass in his hand shatters. That is the power of vibration. It can not only destroy objects, but also cause earthquakes that shake mountains and rivers. And it can also become a sharp blade. As if to prove it, at this moment, Beelzebub uses a hand chop to slash at Tesla, leaving a deep scratch on his mech suit. Ours is stunned, not expecting the power of vibration to be so terrifying. And this kind of destructive, superpowered vibration is Beelzebub's unique special ability, called the Wings of the Devil. Seeing the scratch on his body, Tesla also understands that this is the principle of an ultrasonic cutter. Lucky I dodged in time, otherwise I would have been sliced in half. Hearing this, the youngest sister Gel feels like the sky is falling. If the mech suit can't defend against the opponent's attacks, how is Tesla supposed to fight? But the eldest sister Valkyrie is very calm, because this mech suit is the culmination of the efforts of all the top scientists in human history. Plus Gundel, who is known as the one who holds magical power, continuously channels divine power into it. Therefore, that suit was not meant for defense, but an offensive suit that can provide infinite electrical power. The next second, Tesla performs a high-speed dash, in an instant arriving in front of Beelzebub. A fist sparkling with electric arc smashes down, but is dodged by Beelzebub jumping back. Seeing that the mere shockwave from the fist left a deep crater on the ground, Beelzebub also recognizes the terror in Tesla's attack. Faced with Tesla's continuous fast attacks, Beelzebub doesn't dare to block directly, but can only continuously dodge. But this technique was an invention created in collaboration by Edison, Einstein, Newton, and other scientists. They call this move the plasma cannon. But no matter how powerful it is, if it doesn't hit the opponent, it's just a light bulb that can glow. Thinking of this, Tesla comes up with an idea. He immediately launches an attack identical to the previous one. Although this blow still doesn't hit Beelzebub, the next second, Tesla points his hand behind him and fires a shot, then uses the recoil to accelerate a second time, instantly appearing in front of Beelzebub. However, this blow from Tesla still doesn't hit Beelzebub. It turns out that at the critical moment, Beelzebub had held his magic staff and used vibration to erect a shield. This is Beelzebub's defensive skill, Gate of Hell. Then, Beelzebub switches the magic staff to his right hand and activates his offensive skill, Fallen Angel of Gluttony, along with the appearance of the illusion of a giant fly. Beelzebub swings the vibrating scepter, while Tesla goes all out, using the plasma pulse cannon to counter. Under this one blow, Tesla is directly knocked to the ground. The alloy suit is heavily damaged in many places, and fresh blood stains his face. Seeing this, the Lord of the Flies is also very disappointed. So you're just a weakling after all? Although Beelzebub's ability is only one, vibration, it can combine both offense and defense. The left hand is responsible for defense, the right hand is responsible for offense. Once he activates the ability with his left hand, it is a sturdy shield, enough to repel Thor's thunder hammer. When the right hand activates, the ability is the sharpest blade, capable of destroying all types of armor. And his Vulunder, the magic staff of Pomius, can significantly amplify the effect of vibration, thereby raising Beelzebub's stats to an extremely terrifying level. Tesla also realizes this. Out of the spirit of scientific research, he is very curious about the principle by which the staff amplifies vibration. As he speaks, he walks towards Beelzebub, intending to borrow the staff for a little research. But Beelzebub pays him no mind. If you can't kill me, then you die. However, faced with the death threat, Tesla shows no fear. Instead, he takes a deep breath and spreads his arms next. Strange rings of light suddenly appear under Tesla's feet, making him levitate in the air. Tesla spreads his arms and declares that in this 9.63 square meter world, he is the true life. However, this is not magic, but the final illusion of human science. Legend has it that after Nikola Tesla passed away in 1943, a large number of unpublished research papers stored at his home were stolen by someone. There are rumors that it was the FBI and the KGB, because the two superpowers, the US and the Soviet Union, were both eager to obtain the superweapons that Tesla had researched. And one of those researches was this anti-gravity system. It was only because the materials of that time were limited that it could not be realized. But the structure of the anti-gravity system had already formed in Tesla's mind. And now, with the super automaton beta made from Valkyrie material, Tesla can both fight and release super Tesla particles. Once the number of particles reaches saturation, they will react with the Tesla coil, thereby meeting the conditions to activate the anti-gravity system. The next second, Tesla is the one to make the first move, at a speed many times faster than before. He teleports to Beelzebub's side and launches a powerful plasma pulse punch. Beelzebub erects a vibration wall to defend. Next, accompanied by a loud explosion, both are pushed back, coordinated with that unrivaled acceleration. Tesla's attack this time finally leaves a wound on Beelzebub. Ars is extremely amazed, not understanding why Tesla's speed suddenly became so fast as lightning. Hermes explains that Tesla's own speed actually hasn't changed at all. He just shortened the acceleration process. Because whether God or man, when running, one must use both feet to push off the ground to propel the body forward. To reach maximum speed, it takes a certain amount of time to complete the acceleration process. But Tesla, levitating thanks to anti-gravity, is different. He only needs to push off the ground once to immediately reach maximum speed. That is the principle that makes Tesla's speed suddenly increase. Before scoring a hit, Tesla launches another attack. However, this time he doesn't directly fire the plasma cannon, because he knows Beelzebub's reaction speed is very fast, and a direct attack won't hit. So he takes advantage of sharp turns that escape inertia, continuously changing his position around Beelzebub to find an opening. Newton in the stands has to facepalm. This guy's really slapping my laws in the face. Soon after, Tesla finds an opportunity and throws a punch. Although Beelzebub successfully blocks it, his face still has another wound, injured again. Beelzebub finally can't suppress the anger in his heart. When Tesla attacks again, he launches a vicious hand chop, aiming straight for Tesla's head. Next, while Tesla is leaning back to dodge the blow, he switches the magic staff to his right hand. Offense and defense swapping. The Fallen Angel of Gluttony skill is activated. Seeing the familiar technique, Tesla grins. He just maintains the posture of leaning back, in an instant increasing the distance. Next, under Beelzebub's astonished gaze, Tesla uses a strange posture to come back. Although this move successfully inflicts heavy damage on Beelzebub, this boomerang-like flying style is indeed a bit funny. And Tesla replies, "This is the Tesla step." Hearing this rustic name, Galileo and Marie Curie also feel embarrassed for him. Although the name Tesla step sounds simple, its practicality is extremely high. Relying on high-speed movement that escapes inertia, Tesla also begins to toy with Beelzebub. First, he deliberately reveals an opening behind him when attacking to lure Beelzebub into striking. Then, he pushes off hard with his left foot and launches a returning blow. However, this close-range killing blow is still blocked by Beelzebub. At the same time, Beelzebub also shows a look of impatience. "I'm tired of watching. Your fist can't hit me." But Tesla wags his finger, implying that nothing is absolute. Science is always advancing. Next, he spreads his arms, and a powerful electric current erupts. The reason Tesla can perform instant teleportation has to be traced back to an experiment in 1943. After he passed away, Based on the final research left by Tesla, scientists conducted a top-secret experiment called the Philadelphia experiment. They installed dozens of Tesla coils on a destroyer, wanting to avoid radar detection by applying a high-voltage current to the ship's hull. However, the moment the switch was pulled, a terrifying thing happened. A magnetic field far stronger than expected appeared, engulfing the entire destroyer. Then, the ship disappeared on the spot. The witnessing officers were dumbfounded, not daring to believe what was happening. And in the next moment, on the coast of Norfolk, on a small fishing boat, a fisherman suddenly saw a dazzling white light in front of him. Next, that destroyer suddenly appeared on the sea surface. The huge waves terrified the fisherman, and these two locations are exactly 363 kilometers apart. Although the Philadelphia experiment seemed successful, in reality, after the instant teleportation, the inside of the destroyer had become a living hell, including the soldiers and scientists on board. 13 were missing or dead, 6 went insane, and the rest were mostly embedded in the ship's walls. Extremely terrifying and bizarre, but due to the heavy casualties of the experiment, the Navy High Command completely sealed this research. But did Tesla's final research really fail? The answer is no. In this prison of the gods, Tesla has truly achieved instant teleportation. Beelzebub has no time to react and is sent flying by Tesla's punch. The clothes on Beelzebub are completely torn. Seeing this, the arena suddenly erupts. Almost everyone thinks Tesla has won this round for sure. However, at this moment, the heavily injured Beelzebub slowly gets up and points out the 3 major flaws of Tesla's instant teleportation. First is the time limit. Activating teleportation requires accumulating power, because just now, after attacking, Tesla clearly could have teleported again to finish him off immediately, but he didn't. So he deduced that teleportation cannot be used continuously. Second is the spatial limit. Teleportation can only move within a certain range. Before, Tesla continuously used the Tesla step to attack, which was actually to force him to retreat to a suitable position for teleportation. Third is the limit on the number of uses. Looking at the broken coil on Tesla's left hand, you can tell, as soon as he finished speaking, that coil also shattered. After hearing Beelzebub's deduction, Tesla also claps in applause, because Beelzebub was completely right. Next, Tesla also adds details about the limitations of teleportation. First, he can only teleport within the prison of the gods, not outside. Otherwise, it would be life-threatening. Second, the teleportation location must be filled with Tesla particles, so he had to desperately punch the air. Third, the charging time for teleportation is 63 seconds, and each teleportation will damage a coil. And on his mech suit, there are only 3 coils in total. In other words, his current number of teleports is only 2, and once he exceeds that number, he will disappear along with the Valkyrie. Beelzebub sees that Tesla isn't hiding anything, but is laying out all his weaknesses. Beelzebub is puzzled. Is this foolishness or confidence? But Tesla wags his finger, saying that science must be shared without reservation, because only in this way can human science advance infinitely. Hearing this, Beelzebub also smiles. Humans are indeed strange creatures. But as soon as he finished speaking, he coughed up a mouthful of fresh blood. It was clear that Tesla's full-power blow had caused extremely serious internal injuries to his body. Looking at his blood-stained hand, Beelzebub is a little dazed. The last time he was seriously injured like this, it must have been back then, a long time ago, because Beelzebub carried the curse of Satan. All the gods in heaven avoided him, because they had heard that just by being associated with Beelzebub, one would have their heart ripped out by Satan. So for all those long years, Beelzebub lived alone in an extremely lonely world. Until that day, Beelzebub met 3 angels. They were Lucifer, Samuel, and Azazel. They thought the so-called curse was just a ridiculous story and enthusiastically invited Beelzebub to play in the Garden of Eden. The long-standing loneliness was broken by the sudden kindness. Beelzebub happily agreed. During his time in the Garden of Eden, Beelzebub experienced the joy of friendship for the first time. He so hoped this feeling could last forever. But the bubble of happiness was ultimately short-lived. One morning, Beelzebub was startled awake, his nostrils filled with the thick smell of blood. He then discovered that Lucifer's group was lying in a pool of blood, all with a single blow through the chest, their hearts ripped out. Beelzebub at this moment understood that the curse on him was real. So Beelzebub, in a rage, blamed everything on Satan. He was determined to find Satan to take revenge. Just as he began to investigate Satan, a beautiful goddess appeared. It was Lucifer's childhood sweetheart, Lilith. When she learned of Satan's curse, Lilith decided to investigate Satan's whereabouts with Beelzebub to avenge Lucifer. And during this time, Beelzebub and Lilith also developed feelings for each other. One night, Beelzebub dreamed of Lucifer's group being killed by Satan. He was startled awake from the nightmare. At this time, Lilith heard the noise and ran over. Seeing Beelzebub in a state of panic, she quickly comforted him. And on that very day, the two expressed their feelings and got together. But at this very moment, Satan's curse struck again. Lilith also died because of the curse, and the murderer was Beelzebub himself. At this moment, Beelzebub suddenly realized that the curse of Satan did not come from an external harm, but made him destroy his own happiness with his own hands. It turned out that all his friends were killed by his own hands. At this time, Lilith was lying on the ground, barely breathing. She told Beelzebub that he must live well. She and Lucifer would not blame Beelzebub, so Beelzebub didn't need to blame himself. And he must absolutely not commit suicide. And to be sure, she also transferred the mark on her face to Beelzebub's chest, casting a seal that made it impossible for Beelzebub to commit suicide. After doing these things, Lilith slowly closed her eyes, and from that day on, endless regret and pain engulfed Beelzebub completely. He had tried to commit suicide, but the mark Lilith left always stopped him. So Beelzebub, who longed for death, fought his way from the heavens down to the underworld. He continuously challenged powerful demons, finally arriving at the mansion of the king of the underworld, Hades, to challenge him. And Hades, after learning Beelzebub's purpose, also accepted the challenge. Because of the continuous battles before, Beelzebub was already seriously injured. Very quickly, he was defeated by Hades with lightning-fast moves. Beelzebub, defeated, knelt on the ground, tears streaming down his face. It's finally over. This time, I can finally die. But Hades didn't understand why he was seeking death. Beelzebub didn't answer directly, but swung his hand towards his chest. But just as it was about to hit, his hand was bound by some force. It was the tattoo Lilith had left, taking effect. He told Hades that with this tattoo, even if he wanted to die, he couldn't. Even if he wanted to deliberately die at the hands of others, this tattoo wouldn't allow it. Beelzebub saw it as a curse, a punishment for killing the one he loved, all to make him continue to live in pain. Hades listened quietly and then told Beelzebub that it wasn't a curse, but a prayer of love from the close friends and loved one that you had unintentionally killed. All of this was so that Beelzebub could live well. He told Beelzebub to remember what that person had said before they died. Instead of seeking death, shouldn't he think about how to live on? Hades didn't kill Beelzebub. He told Beelzebub to think carefully. If he still wanted to die, he could just come and find him. Beelzebub, covering his face and crying, could only reluctantly agree. Not long after, Beelzebub came to Hades' palace again. He told Hades that he should still die, but he couldn't be killed by an existence like the king of the underworld. But he had to live more painfully, more miserably, more despicably, and more, trying to embrace the ugliest death. Only in this way could he complete his atonement to them. After hearing Beelzebub's answer, Hades couldn't help but laugh out loud. What a troublesome guy, but I like it. After speaking, he took something out of his chest and threw it to Beelzebub, and that was the Volunder Beelzebub was now using. It supported Beelzebub's ability. With its help, Beelzebub wouldn't die so easily in the future. Beelzebub was stunned. This was one of the few moments of warmth he had felt. But now, the last person who cared about him had also died at the hands of humanity. Thinking of this, Beelzebub's heart was gradually consumed by rage. Next, the scepter shrank, and he clenched the skull with both hands. In his mind now, there was only one thought: to kill all of humanity. The eyes of the skull flashed with a golden light. Immediately after, a dense destructive aura, like a storm, gathered towards the skull. And this was Beelzebub's ultimate final move. Tesla also realized the danger of this move and threw a punch, wanting to interrupt. But he was blocked by a shield, along with the vibration in Beelzebub's hand continuously strengthening. Zeus Alsos' expression changed, shouting loudly at Beelzebub to stop, because that move of his was a taboo of the divine realm. But Beelzebub paid no heed. In Canaanite mythology, Beelzebub was originally a two-faced god. Half was a guardian god, symbolizing a bountiful harvest. The other half was a demon, symbolizing disaster. And when they merged into one, they would become a god of nothingness, devouring everything around them. Therefore, this move was also called the original sin of the underworld, chaos. Under this move, the center of the arena was completely destroyed. Although the arena was still shrouded in smoke, the audience in the stands didn't even dare to blink, eager to know the result. When the smoke cleared, Tesla was still standing, not having fallen. Unfortunately, his condition looked like a candle in the wind. But Beelzebub was no better off. Because that move was too powerful, even his body suffered a huge backlash. At this time, the coil on Tesla's hand shattered. It turned out that in that critical moment just now, Tesla had used enough maximum effort to burn out the coil, launching the strongest plasma pulse punch to dissipate a part of the shockwave. Luckily surviving, although covered in injuries, Tesla took the initiative to attack. The next second, the Gagan cage descended again. Under the effect of the anti-gravity system, Tesla quickly approached Beelzebub and launched a new round of attacks. Although both were now heavily injured, Tesla only needed a weak push of his feet to move freely, while Beelzebub could only passively defend in place. His current condition was extremely serious. The heavy injuries to his body made it impossible for him to activate chaos again. At the same time, each use of vibration also put a burden on his body. But once he had an opportunity, Beelzebub still desperately launched a fierce attack. However, when Tesla was dodging the attack, he was accidentally tripped by the rubble on the ground. The rubble scattered from the explosion just now had become the biggest obstacle to Tesla's ground-level movement. Seeing this, Beelzebub also seized the opportunity. His right hand held the magic staff and began to counterattack. Although each time he used the scepter to release the vibration ability, his body would spurt a stream of blood. Beelzebub still attacked wildly regardless of everything, seemingly sensing the collapse of Beelzebub's body. The tattoo on his chest suddenly expanded rapidly, causing Beelzebub's movements to slow down a lot. Please, Lilith, I'm not trying to throw away my life right now, but I'm fighting with my life on the line. Seemingly understanding Beelzebub's purpose, the vines on his arm immediately retreated. After the resistance disappeared, Beelzebub, regardless of his injuries, launched an even more ferocious attack, like countless flies rushing towards Tesla. This move was Beelzebub's ultimate technique, the inescapable swarm of darkness. Tesla could only raise both hands to defend. Under this blow, Tesla's chest was shattered, and Beelzebub's arms spurted blood. However, after the smoke cleared, Tesla had not yet fallen. Although victory and defeat were not yet decided, the human spectators no longer held any hope of victory because Beelzebub was really too strong. But unlike the despairing audience, Tesla's eyes were still full of hope. He was Nikola Tesla, the man most incompatible with the two words "give up" in human history. Along with the coil on Tesla's chest beginning to spin, just like Tesla in the past had lit the first light bulb on Earth. The light emitted from this final Tesla coil once again lit up the hope in the hearts of humanity. Immediately, all of humanity erupted, and resounding cheers echoed, cheering for him. And Tesla also rushed towards Beelzebub again. Although the attack was still blocked by Beelzebub's shield, this time Tesla did not retreat. If one punch was not enough, then two punches. If two punches were not enough, then three punches. Under Tesla's frenzied attack like a torrential downpour, Beelzebub had absolutely no chance to catch his breath. Fresh blood also continuously spurted out when he activated vibration. But similarly, Tesla's body was also under a huge burden. This battle entered a stage of endurance. So in the end, was the spear of the strongest scientist in human history broken? Or was the shield of the strongest evil god in the underworld destroyed? But the result was already clear. The mortal body ultimately could not defeat the divine. Tesla reached his limit first because he had previously blocked the attack of chaos, and his internal organs were already severely damaged. In the moment his attack was interrupted, Beelzebub also launched a counterattack, both using his shield to knock away Tesla's fist and raising his right hand to slash at Tesla. It turned out that Tesla's previous attacks were all a setup for this final instant teleportation. Seeing this, Beelzebub also realized this and hastily switched from offense to defense. But Tesla had also anticipated this, so this time he didn't play by the rules. The next second, a scene that no one expected happened. Tesla's body didn't move at all, but his right hand suddenly disappeared. However, faced with this inescapable attack, Beelzebub chose to drop his shield. Then he used his left hand to block Tesla's right fist from behind, at the same time dodging Tesla's left punch and attacking with his right hand. Next, along with Tesla's right fist falling to the ground and his left fist missing, the eighth round of the battle between gods and men finally had a winner. Tesla's team was pierced by Beelzebub's fingers. Beelzebub only sacrificed one arm to break Tesla's wonderful teleportation. It must be said that in terms of reaction speed, Beelzebub was indeed ridiculously strong. Moreover, he was always wary of Tesla using teleportation to sneak attack. So Tesla's defeat was already determined. Next, Beelzebub withdrew his fingers and walked out of the arena without looking back, at the same time silently cursing Hades in his heart. It's all his fault that I couldn't die this time. At this time, Tesla, with only one breath left, also shouted his final words to humanity. Humans, hold your heads high. Science has no limits. Never stop advancing. Along with Tesla's body turning into blue light and disappearing in the arena, the eighth round of the battle between gods and men also came to an end. The score was 4-4. The lead that humanity had painstakingly achieved was once again tied by Beelzebub. So this concludes this installment of the commentary. A preview of the next episode, the ninth round of the battle between gods and men. The strongest warrior of Sparta, Leonidas, versus the sun god Apollo. So can the man who commanded 300 warriors and dared to confront the tens of thousands of Persian troops defeat one of the 12 main gods of Olympus, Apollo?